because we take this job so serious.
It's really, in the end, basically a skill issue.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
(11:06) on your AM, on your radio dial, and on your watch. This is Snowman in the Morning. And guess what? And I'm proud to say this, and I hope my beautiful wife catches this also. We owe you an ID. This is Snowman in the Morning.
You're listening to WBWS-DB, your new Chicago Sports Hub radio voice. You're listening to WJKS-DB, your Hoosier Sports Home and Indiana Sports Hub play-by-play voice. You're listening to WHDR-DB, your radio home and voice of the Carolinas.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Doggone it.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
Because he's the armchair quarterback.
Woo-wee. Man, oh man, this has been fun. Here's our question of the day presented by Longevity. Does your football team need to push the plunger? Let me know down below. Had a couple of answers. A Pizzle says, "Dear Miami Dolphins, you know what, A Pizzle? I'm going to do you a favor. And I'm going to make you laugh at the same time. Dear Miami Dolphins, after what happened yesterday, you are infinity."
Trays.
And dear Arizona Cardinals, let's see, to the Arizona Cardinals, to the Miami Dolphins, who else? To the Los Angeles Raiders. You guys are all nothing but
Trays.
And now this word from Stupid University.
So I realized that I think, even though it's not advertised,
right,
there has to be a place for stupid people. We don't know because we're not stupid, so we don't know anything about it. It's like a secret club society.
Oh my gosh.
So I come to the conclusion that he graduated from SU, Stupid University. Yeah, all the stupid ass letters that go along with graduating high honors of being stupid. I can't do no more, man.
Vámonos, dominos, vámonos. Stupid University, where everyone graduates magna cum stupid.
Let's go to Indianapolis. Did anybody happen to look at that whooping the Colts delivered to the Raiders yesterday? The Raiders led 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then the Colts woke up and scored 40 unanswered points. You heard me right. 40. 40-6 was the final. Jonathan Taylor rushed for 68 yards. Daniel Jones threw for 2.5. And you know what Napoleon says, the Raiders need to push the plunger. And yes, I said Los Angeles Raiders. I know they're Las Vegas, and they're officially the Las Vegas Raiders. But to me, they're the Oakland Raiders. Oakland and Los Angeles. And the Raiders need to push the plunger. Why? Because yes, Gino, it is you. Period. Whoever told the Los Angeles Raiders that Geno Smith is the answer lied. Pretty soon, I hope they tell him,
You're out. You're out. You're out.
after what I saw yesterday, I know Napoleon thinking about them signing Geno Smith has to be thinking,
Are you kidding me?
And just like I said about the Dolphins, the Raiders are not going to win anything. The Raiders are not going to win anything unless they bully their way back to either Oakland or Los Angeles. The Colts in 2 quarters delivered so many
Tiger uppercut.
that the Raiders said, I quit, and only got a field goal the rest of the way. They did not find the end zone. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. That Colts defense was, you know what the Colts said after last weekend?
You know what? That makes me mad.
And showed it against the Raiders. 40 unanswered points at one point in time. 40. Geno finally feels at home as a Raider. That's bullshit. Because he certainly didn't look like it. From the highlights I watched, he looked about as uncomfortable as Caleb Williams in the Bears offense. And to throw some shade at Damian, and he knows I'm kidding around when I do this, he looked as comfortable as Justin Fields did yesterday in that Jets offense, running for his life. Sometimes I think Geno Smith was saying, "You're googly moogly," all day. And for those of you who thought the Raiders were going to be something, no, I got this right here. Hold on a minute. First of all, 40-6. There were some people whispering in my ear because I cover the Colts. Hey, the Raiders are going to be competitive on Sunday. The Colts better watch out. Oh yeah. Well, the Raiders took one big fat. And you actually thought the Raiders were going to be competitive?
Stop the cap.
Matter of fact, to those of you who tried to whisper in my ear, beg your pardon. For those of you who tried to whisper in my ear that the Raiders were going to be competitive against my Indianapolis Colts, you tripping. So how does it feel knowing you got a foot put in your rear end by Daniel Jones, the comeback player of the year, and the Indianapolis Colts, who now sit at 4-1. And matter of fact, were it not for an 88-yard touchdown to Tutu Atwell, they'd be sitting at 5-0 probably. So for the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Eagles, who lost in comeback fashion, the Arizona Cardinals, who lost in comeback fashion, and the Seattle Sea Squawks, who lost in comeback fashion. I offer this to you. Because all those teams played like absolute down the stretch. The Raiders especially played like after the first drive of the game because they allowed the Colts to kick him in the throat with 40 unanswered points. I don't even have to go over the numbers of what happened in Indianapolis, Indiana. Lucas Oil Stadium was at full throat after the Colts scored, led 7-3, which essentially turned into the game-winning touchdown because the Raiders couldn't do a thing after that. Period. So how's that, NFL? Two of the teams you thought you buried, the Colts and the 40. Give me my cup. The Colts and these guys, the two teams I cover play-by-play wise, are sitting at 4-1. How do you like them apples? Huh? I know Raider fans have got to be thinking,
I'm getting too old for this.
And the Rams have got to be thinking,
I'm getting too old for this.
You know what Rams fan said to me after what happened Thursday night?
You tripping.
You doggone right, because we beat you. Miraculously, but we beat you. Which means I am going to hear it from Playmaker this week. Oh boy. But to the Raiders and the Dolphins, and in part the Eagles, we now have a selection from the Wonder Bread Choir entitled, How Did You Lose? After the break, we'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs. And to the New York Yankees, your season is screwed. Snowman in the morning in its 12th season. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
Well, that game sucked.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to give you all a scoreboard update. And that's my fault because I got to talking about my wife's beloved Indianapolis Colts, who stuck a foot in the Raiders' rear end. So let me get everything together here. And now, with the music going, I got the musical cue now. It is now time. Where are you? Right here. For the Snowman SeatGeek Scoreboard Cutie Queen update brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the code Snowman for $20 off of your first purchase. Through the NFL scores we go. Beginning in London, it was Minnesota over Cleveland 21-17. Houston crowned Baltimore 44-10. You heard me talk about that. I'll move this tab over here. Carolina comes back and beats Miami 27-24. The Indianapolis Colts, that's for you, Dr. K, beat the Raiders 40-6. The New Orleans Saints, yes, those New Orleans Saints showed they have a pulse, and they beat up Jackson Dart and the Giants. They forced 5 turnovers. They win in the Superdome 26-14. It was the Cowboys over the Jets 37-22. The Broncos over Philadelphia 21-17. In the late games, Tennessee walks off on a field goal over Arizona. That final score 22-21. Another walk-off occurred in Seattle as the Buccaneers get a 38-35 win. Detroit beat up Cincinnati 37-24. It was the Redskins over the Chargers, that final 27-10. And then one of the shockers of the night, the New England Patriots. Yes, those New England Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills by a final of 23-20. Tonight, it's the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars with an 8:15 kickoff, I beg your pardon, in Jacksonville. Let's go through the scores in the Major League Baseball playoffs. You're talking about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Our games today, both of which will be on Snowman Sportsnet, will be the Dodgers and the Phillies, game 2 of that division series. The Dodgers lead that series 1-0. And the Milwaukee Brewers will try to make it 2 in a row over the Cubs. That game starts at 9:08. Blake Snell will go for the Dodgers, Edwin Luzardo for Philadelphia. And the pitching matchup, Imanaga goes for the Cubs and Ashby goes for the Brewers. Yesterday, it was the Toronto Blue Jays scoring 10+ again. They beat the New York Yankees that final 13-7. And the Mariners tie up the division series against the Tigers. They win 3-2. Trey Savage, the winner for Toronto. Max Fried, the loser for the Yankees. And I think the Yankees are going to get beaten on Tuesday night. The Tigers and the Mariners are tied 1 game apiece. Brash, the winner for the Mariners. Finnegan, the loser for the Tigers. Munoz, the save for Seattle. NBA basketball. Preseason basketball yesterday, the Thunder win big 135-114. And my beloved Golden State Warriors beat the Los Angeles Fakers. That final was 111 to 103. And that, my friends, is your Snowman Snowman SeatGeek Scoreboard Cutie Queen update. We do this every morning at the top of the second hour. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the code Snowman for $20 off of your first purchase. That is only through the power of SeatGeek. And you know the rest, where fans can fan. I want to do something fun here. I want to start a mailbag, an NFL type mailbag, where I answer your questions. Well, we answer your questions about the NFL. So if you are interested, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. I'll do the mailbag on Wednesday. I'll also put a post on social media. So any question you want answered, we will answer it. How about those Toronto Blue Jays? They saw the Yankees get through the division series against the Boston Red Sox and said, "Welcome to Toronto." Pow! And especially the greeting from one Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He not only homered in game one, in game two, he decided to couple it with a grand slam. Let me repeat that. Vladimir Guerrero, in his first two playoff games, has homered. He hit a home run in game one that is still traveling. And in game two, he smacked a grand slam that is still traveling. Isn't that fun? You never know what a person is going to do in their first playoff appearance. And Vladimir Guerrero said, "Okay, hold my beer." And the Blue Jays stand one game away, and they can win in New York. New York is not the same, and I love you, Dave Sims, but New York is not the same powerful team as it was in the 70s and the 90s. I skipped the 80s because that was the downside for the Yankees. But the Yankees are a playoff team, and they are at home. And they can win 2 at home and send it back to Toronto for a game 5. Now watch, as I say that the Blue Jays can beat the Yankees in New York, the Yankees are going to find their strength at home behind Aaron Judge and that raucous crowd in the new house. In front of ghosts like Derek Jeter, number 2. And find their strength and get back in this series. Watch. Because every time I make a prediction like that, it goes wrong. It's one of those predictions should have gone wrong. Yeah. And it always happens. That's why I don't do picks very well. I can do analysis very well. I just don't do picks very well. But it's fun, though. It's fun. Toronto and the Yankees resume their series Tuesday night, but I picked at the top of the season, I picked the Toronto Blue Jays to win the American League East, and doggone it if they didn't do it on the last day of the year. Doggone it if they didn't do it on the last game of the year. They beat the New York Yankees. And I mean beat them up. They beat them up, man. And now they won the first 2 games against the Yankees, and they beat them up again. They scored 23 runs. They've outscored the Yankees in Toronto in the first 2 games 23-8. 23-8. And since we're talking baseball, I hope the Milwaukee Brewers I need my button here so I don't get in trouble with all the stations that hear us and the stations that are picking us up. And I'm trying to really do this anew so I don't cuss on air. I hope the Milwaukee Brewers stomp a mud hole in the Cubs and walk it dry and treat them like the bitches they are. because the Cubs do not deserve to be in the National League Championship Series. Because if they make it to the National League Championship Series, then I won't hear the end of it from Cubs fans. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of Cub fans. I lived with them for many years, and I'm tired. Let's take a break. When y'all get back, Jay Spivey will join us in his usual spot, and I want to make it his usual spot. And I think he's got some things on his mind. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Cause we take this job so serious.
And Father O'Shaughnessy need to go to hell. That's what he needs.
What did Father O'Shaughnessy do?
I quit. We're done here. I'm done. We're out of here.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
If y'all would have seen that episode live, you wonder why we can't stop laughing at that clip. And thank you, Playmaker, for that. Napoleon posed a question going into this week.
Why did I trust Geno Smith over DJ Les and QB Mild Sauce?
Stimpy, you idiot.
And then this week happened. And Napoleon said to me, Napoleon said when he did his picks, break the glass when it came to that game. Now, let's have some fun and let's go down to Carolina. Jay Spivey is with us, joining us from North Carolina. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Okay, man. Explain to me what the heck happened in Charlotte yesterday.
The Dolphins absolutely collapsed and choked a sorry dog Panthers team.
It was 17-0.
And the Panthers were doing absolutely nothing.
No, they were not.
And you let them back in the game.
How? How did the Dolphins let the Carolina Panthers back into the ball game? How?
They're about as bad as the Panthers panthering last week. The Dolphins just have this history recently.
Mm-hmm.
What have they really done since Marino left?
Nothing.
I mean, really, they've done nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Same thing.
I'm serious. I mean, they keep getting these prime spots on TV all the time, and they've done nothing.
Same can be said about the Charlotte Hornets, who are not going to do anything this year.
Well, we know that, but they've been like that pretty much since the 80s.
They've been like this since they changed the name from the Bobcats back to the Hornets.
They're horrible.
They've done nothing. Nothing.
That two bad ownerships in the same city.
How do you explain that?
Well, NFL and NBA allows it, I guess. And the fan bases keep coming back, which is stupid.
It's very stupid. What do you say about, speaking of teams choking away games, the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, my goodness gracious. And it all started because of that idiotic play for some reason that players still keep doing for almost 20 years now, ever since Deshaun Jackson did it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you drop the ball a yard in front of the end zone?
I've seen Jonathan Taylor
run through the end zone and jump in the crowd for all I care. But don't drop the ball in the end zone. In front of the end zone.
I've seen Jonathan Taylor do it live on the air. I've seen A.D. Mitchell do it live on the air. And now Amari DiMarcado has just become the latest meme of dropping the football.
And he should.
Yep.
And I understand that pro players don't get as ripped as college and high school players do. But if I were him, Shane Steichen would have ripped his rear end out yesterday.
Yep. And he did it to Jonathan Taylor and AD Mitchell. When they did it. And did Amari DiMarcado face any kind of punishment on the sideline? No. Did he face any kind of discipline on the sideline? No.
Of course not.
Did he face any kind of shunning from his players because of that? Because he basically cost them the game? No.
I bet you deep down he doesn't think he did anything wrong. He may say he did something wrong, but deep down I don't think he knows he did anything wrong. Because apparently it's like the cool thing for football players to do these days. And it's just plain idiotic.
It is. I mean, you break through the line, great run, but you drop the football before you cross. Intentionally. And no one will say, I bet you no one will say intentionally like we are.
I bet a lot of his teammates think it was a great thing to do.
But they don't realize you cost your team 7 points.
You cost your team the game. That game was over.
The game was over.
If he had scored, that game was over.
The game was over. The game flipped on that.
Because the sorry Titans were dead.
In the water.
Dead.
And somehow they rise and they walk off. If I'm the Arizona, I asked the question earlier in the show. Does your team need to push the plunger? I think the Arizona Cardinals need to push the plunger.
Absolutely, they need to, because this team is dead. And I'm sorry, I don't care how good of a player he is. Kyler Murray is not the kind of player who's going to win you a Super Bowl.
No, he's not.
He's just not.
I don't think and I've had people argue with me, well, he needs time to develop. He's had time to develop.
He's had plenty of time to develop.
Yeah, he played at 2 different colleges, for God's sakes, and he still hasn't developed.
He's had plenty of time to develop.
He's had plenty of time to develop, and he sucks right now.
He's just, I don't know that he's the guy who can really inspire your team either. Because he's so athletic, he just wants, seems like anytime he gets in trouble, he runs. And as I know it's hard to tackle him, I get that.
Yeah.
But he's not the kind of guy who can inspire a team to really be that good.
Prime example from this year, the loss to San Francisco.
Yeah.
The loss to San Francisco. A team battling with a slew of injuries.
Has no team left.
None. I said that earlier. And somehow the 49ers are 4-1.
And are 3-0 in the division, which is more important.
Absolutely.
And somehow lost to the Jags of all teams.
We got socked in the mouth against Jacksonville. Okay, let me just go ahead and say it. Travis Etienne took a fumble. The Jaguars recovered a fumble, and then Travis Etienne punched us in the mouth, and the game was over then. But somehow this resilient team, and I keep using that word, and you've heard me use that word when it comes to the 49ers, this resilient team went to Los Angeles with the JV squad and beat them in overtime.
I think he needs to win in the playoffs, but I think a large part of that's Shanahan. But he's not proven that late in the playoffs.
No.
Or even in the Super Bowl for sure.
Yeah, he's lost 2 Super Bowls. That ain't the legacy you want to leave.
But I do think in the regular season he's a really good coach.
Now, what the heck happened? While we're talking about what the heck happened in Philadelphia?
Another one. Just collapsed. Which proves again it's going to be nearly impossible for anybody to be undefeated in the NFL.
And the same in Buffalo. But I mean, Buffalo just choked. Two fumbles,
yes,
2 fumbles and 3 drives in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, like they kept saying in the press conference last night, you're not going to win with 3 turnovers. You're not. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care who you're playing.
You turn the ball over 3 times, you're not winning anything. I went after the second fumble. I got to be honest, and I said this at the top of the show. After the second fumble, I went to bed because I knew something goofy was going to happen at Rich Stadium,
and it did.
And it did. And the Patriots won at Rich Stadium. And yes, I still call it Rich Stadium. The Patriots won.
Well, they get ready to pull the plunger on that stadium at the end of the season anyway.
Yep. This is the last year of Highmark / Ralph Wilson / Rich Stadium. And then you had the game.
Let's flip it on the head there. Why did the Titans get rid of Vrabel? Because the guy could clearly coach.
I don't know.
The Patriots hit a home run by hiring him.
Mm-hmm. They did.
And Drake May is clearly good.
And you can see the difference.
Oh, they're so much better.
You can see the difference in Drake May with Mike Vrabel leading the team.
Well, and as sorry as he's been as a head coach twice, Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And they were talking last night during the game that they basically just started from scratch with Drake May when he got hired because they didn't even know each other.
Right.
And they just started from scratch.
Yep.
And he just looks like a different player.
He is. He is. Damian Hernandez says, I will say this. The Panthers do have a legit quarterback now. Yeah, Bryce Young is not great.
Oh, please.
And has flaws, but he looks like he has a bright future in front of him. Let me answer that, Damian. No.
No.
Just no.
I like Bryce Young, but he is not that kind of guy.
He's not. He's not. Skills be darned. His mental, the way you said it about Kyler Murray just a moment ago. He's not the guy that's going to lead you to a Super Bowl.
He's not.
He's not the guy that's going to rally the troops. Somehow yesterday he did against Miami, but it's Miami.
I don't care what Kyler Murray's listed at. It doesn't matter. He's probably 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
How many 5'10" quarterbacks are going in the NFL on a consistent basis?
The last quarterback, the last quarterback that's like 6'1" and under to lead his team was Drew Brees.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And Drew Brees didn't make his hay until he got traded from San Diego to New Orleans.
Well, another thing that helped Drew is that he learned how to throw.
Yeah. Thank you.
And under tough circumstances, meaning he had to throw over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray just, as soon as he gets in any kind of trouble, he starts running.
And you know who else you can say that for? What's the name I'm looking for that Damian wants to defend that Damian Hernandez, a guy in the chat, wants to defend all the time? Oh yeah, Justin Fields.
Oh God, that's another one.
Mm-hmm.
He's the same way.
Anytime he gets in trouble, he runs.
What's he ever won in the NFL? Nothing. And he's now on his third team.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be more teams than that are going to take a chance on him. I don't know.
And the Jets are just god awful.
The Jets are horrible. The Jets are just plain horrible.
How could New York have two such horrible teams?
Well, one because
the Jets and Giants are awful.
The Giants and Jets are just bad. They're just plain awful. And they both need, I'll answer a question I posed. The Jets and the Giants need to push the plunger.
Well, that goes, again, as well as Danny Dimes is doing with the Colts, and I hate that name.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that says how bad his coaches were with the Giants.
Agreed.
Because he's really playing well with the Colts.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Well, you know what the Colts have that the Giants don't? Structure. Not to mention some weapons.
And who would have said? I mean, I'm sorry he died, but I wouldn't have thought that before Irsay died.
Right.
But actually, I guess his daughter's taking it. It seems like she knows what she's doing.
It seems that way so far. But they
just beat the snot out of the Raiders yesterday.
40 unanswered points.
And the Raiders dead.
The Raiders led 3-0 at the end of one. 3-0. But the Colts were moving. And then the first touchdown happened. It was a pass to the fellow who I think should be Rookie of the Year running away, and that's Tyler Warren. 40 unanswered points.
They're good because that division's horrible.
That division is theirs. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's just go ahead and say it out loud and repeat a statement I've said many times over during the summer. The division is the Colts to lose.
Oh, absolutely.
The AFC South is the Colts to lose, and they ain't losing.
Although it did seem like, for once this season, it seemed like the Texans finally showed some life.
And they beat up Baltimore. There's
I
another
don't
team.
think I'll be shocked if the Jags beat the Chiefs tonight.
You wouldn't be shocked if
I'll
the
be
Jags?
shocked if the Jags beat the Chiefs tonight.
Yeah, I'll be shocked too.
Because
my official pick was the Chiefs anyway. I would be shocked if the Jaguars win.
People keep trying to bury the Chiefs. The Chiefs,
Chiefs are not dead.
As long as Mahomes is their quarterback and Andy Reid's there, they're gonna keep winning.
As long as Patrick Mahomes is breathing, they have a chance.
And yes, they have trouble running the ball, and their receivers aren't what they used to be. Frankly, they don't have the weapons they used to. But still, they're going to keep winning.
Mm-hmm. Why are people writing them off? Why?
Just what I'm saying. They think they're not nearly as dynamic as they used to. But Mahomes is still the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he just turned 30.
Which I can't
believe. He just turned 30.
Which I can't believe. He just turned 30. He just turned 30. Unbelievable.
He just turned 30. Let's not bury the guy. He's not 45.
And he want to write him off.
And he's not. Yes, I understand your skills diminish at some point, but he's not the kind of guy that runs all the time. He doesn't do that.
Unlike Justin Fields, Patrick Mahomes can actually throw the football.
Well, Kyler Murray too.
I'll say it again. Unlike Justin Fields, Damian Hernandez, Patrick Mahomes actually has an arm. Patrick Mahomes can actually play quarterback.
And he's proven that.
Yep. Patrick Mahomes.
He's won. He has multiple rings.
He has won. He's a winner. He is a leader. He's an MVP, okay? Regular season and Super Bowl MVP. How do you like them apples?
Well, listen, Andy Reid clearly knows what he's doing. Because honestly, I'll say this now, but when he traded up to get Mahomes, I thought he was crazy.
I thought so too.
Because he already had Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm. But he's proven us wrong.
And he traded it. It's worked right from the get-go.
It has. It has. And it's going to keep, and as long as those two are together, it's going to keep working. But what happened? I'll ask you this. What happened? Jay Spivey is, let me say this. Jay Spivey is with us. Spivey Notes back in tow here on Monday. What happened to Baltimore?
They have no defense. Their defense is absolutely horrible.
Their defense is cooked.
And who would have ever said that about them?
Exactly. Their defense is
cooked. And I know
cooked.
they got some injuries. I know Lamar Jackson's hurt, but still.
Their defense is cooked.
It's terrible. And all those idiots up there who want to fire John Harbaugh, have at it. If they want to fire him, fire him. Mm-hmm. The guy's a really good coach.
Who are you going to get to replace him?
Well, that's exactly my point. They booed him off the field yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
For what?
And half the seats were empty by the time the second half began.
Shoot, they were half empty before halftime.
Mm-hmm. It was 24
and
to
once
3.
Again, Lamar Jackson's hurt.
How many times have we talked about
Lamar
Lamar
every
Jackson?
year.
He is. How many times have we said that about Lamar Jackson on this program?
He's hurt every year. They're not near the same team without him.
That's obvious.
And also, I don't understand. I'll say this about a lot of teams, but I'll say that about them. Although Cooper Rush is not the worst backup quarterback.
Right.
Why teams don't invest more in a backup quarterback? Because at some point, your quarterback's going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He just is. So, in this nightmare going on in Cincinnati, since the Bengals clearly did not do that and clearly don't want to do anything about that, since there are some quarterbacks who are still available and won't trade for them. Kirk Cousins being one.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins would be perfect up there.
You know something?
But Jake Browning?
Jake Browning, yes.
They're not going to win with Jake Browning.
Yesterday proved that.
He was awful.
Yesterday proved that.
They're wasting all that talent in Cincinnati because they're so cheap.
I want you to answer. I want to answer this comment here from Damian Hernandez. Justin Fields never had any weapons or a legit team around him like Mahomes had. since being drafted, and Justin has an arm. Just ask Garrett Mooney, Pickens, DJ Moore, and every receiver that he's had. I'll answer this first. Damian, no. Just no. Justin Fields, and I think Jay would agree with me, Justin Fields hasn't been able to throw the ball and throw it accurately since his days at Ohio State.
No.
Not a chance.
That is clearly a Justin Fields apologist there.
And what's the excuse? Oh, he's never had a team around him.
That's
baloney.
Not true at all. Not true at all.
Baloney.
Not true at all.
He has had a team around him. He just doesn't know how to play quarterback.
Not true at all.
He just doesn't know how to play quarterback. Period. End of story. And these, you know what, man? I'll say it. These apologists, and you and I know quite a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't quit. Especially a couple that we know that cover the Hornets and the Panthers.
I'm glad you mentioned said person because I got a story to tell you about him.
Oh, no. Let's hear it.
I was sitting right next to said person Friday night at a high school football game. And the game that we were covering went to overtime.
Really?
He and his color guy did not know the rule for high school overtime. And they were sitting on air talking about it. And the guy to his right, and I was to their left, corrected them on air. The guy next to him was not on. He was doing the clock and heard what they said. And he said, I heard what y'all said about overtime, and you're incorrect. He had to give them a tutorial on high school overtime.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, my God.
So he got corrected on the air.
He most certainly did by a guy who was not on it. He was doing the clock.
He was doing the clock, and he corrected him on the air.
Yes, he did. I heard every word of it. I heard every word of it.
And if I remember correctly, you get 4 downs from the 10-yard line?
You get 10-yard line, and obviously both teams get possessions.
Yep, both teams. I know both teams get a possession.
They did not know the rule. They did not know the rule. And the guy to his right, who was doing the clock, overheard him and said, I used to be a high school coach, which he was. And he said, I overheard y'all. He said, I get the feeling y'all don't know the rule in high school overtime. And he had your boy said, as a matter of fact, I don't know the rule. Well, you know, first of all, it's embarrassing. Second, educate yourself. If you don't know it, educate yourself.
You know what? I had an overtime game in 2002 in Chicago. That was my first overtime game of my career that I called high school football. And I knew going into it that both teams possessed the ball. Someone told me when I said it was my first overtime game during a break, he told me both teams get the ball at the 10-yard line. With that basic knowledge, I was good.
So,
and he didn't even know the basic knowledge. 4 downs from the 10-yard line. If you don't
know it before you come on air to discuss overtime, how about asking somebody instead of just coming up with some conjecture and say you think you know what it is? You
Absolutely.
Don't know.
Absolutely. Ask questions.
I heard every word that the three of them were talking about because they're right next to me.
Let me guess, and he didn't bother to say hello either.
No, well, he not like that, but no, he could have asked me. I'd have told him. I know the rule,
and he didn't.
They've had the same rule in high school for years. It hasn't changed. So how's he not seeing an overtime rule?
You know what?
And his color guy played high school football,
and he didn't know the overtime rule.
He had no idea.
I'm going to say this, and then we're going to get the heck out of here. When I worked with him, there was a lot that he didn't know.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
There's a lot that he didn't know. And I'll leave it with this. He never bothered to ask.
Nope.
He thought he knew everything.
Said it on air when he didn't know the rule.
Said it on air. Yep.
You're saying something incorrect?
And I've heard his broadcast. No. Just no. So I'm saying on air, he's not worth listening to. Jay Spivey with us here as he is every single Monday. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you very much.
We got to split. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope you all are too. God bless you. So long, everybody. I'm back later on behind the mic for some baseball, and Justin Fields has no excuse for sucking the way that he does. Out.